quiet, don't say a word, and never mind that noise you heard. It's just a voice inside your head, under your pillow, under your bed. And that is how you play James Hetfield's riff from Sandman on the guitar from Metallica. Hi everybody, Alex here. That actually had to do with something that became part of my reality this week from my research. And I wanted to share it with you. And it had to do with Christmas Day yesterday, which today is December 26th, 2017. And I've had a week of research and a week of epiphanies and thoughts that became my reality and became interaction with other people, and even yesterday on Christmas Day. And I just want to share it with you. The realization to make this video started yesterday on Christmas Day. I went over to my mom's house to get my stepdad and my mom, and we were going to meet together at a restaurant with the family for a Christmas dinner, right? So as I'm in the living room and I see them both, he comes marching in the room all happy and says, "Merry Christmas!" And he's all about Christmas. He is Mr. Christmas, you know. Cards have to go to everybody. He spends weeks on Christmas cards and messages and emails and Christmas this and Christmas that. Now he's a Mormon high priest. Now I was elder, not a high priest. I'm actually an elder, an initiated elder of Zion. Okay, not practicing, and from the Mormon Church. But I grew up here in Clear Lake, Friendswood area of Houston, which is right next to the Johnson Space Center. I live less than a mile away from Mission Control here, where my father worked and my stepfather. And in church, my bishop was an astronaut, Dann of Skylab, if you look that up. I know several STS project managers who ran the space shuttle program, were in charge of all the vehicles, where they were at all times and what they were doing. And now with all of the research that I'm doing into NASA, as far as, you know, anybody that's watching my channel, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard for me to talk to anybody, you know, much less when I get into religion and history about Dionysus and Horus and Bacchus, the Roman Bacchus, the Greek Dionysus, the Egyptian Horus, and all of these Christ figures. Do you know the Eucharist of the Mass came from Dionysus in Greece? When he was the Christ figure and when he died, his body was burnt and everybody ate pieces of it. And that became the Eucharist for fecundary purification, which later became the Mass, eating the flesh and drinking the blood of the Christ figure, and other churches became the sacraments. I don't practice that or believe in that. I don't think that our Creator God is the God with the small g that's having everybody commit blood atonement and blood sacrifice. Okay, so I object to the word Christmas because it's Christ Mass, referring to the Eucharist of Dionysus, and it's ignorance. Participation is consent. Ignorance is consent. Silence is consent. When people start to become truthers and they figure out how this world is run and what's going on, and wonder, how do these people get away with it? You know, how do they get away with registering your name on a birth certificate and then holding your soul in this, what we call the meat puppet, your human resource, while you're here on earth, as your spirit dwells in this light body made of light, photon-based light particles? How do they get away with it? It's because of consent. And how do we consent? Because we participate in things like Christmas and we decorate trees. Now, I'm not promoting the Bible as 100% the Word of God. You know, there's some truth in it, but otherwise, no. But even in Jeremiah, read Jeremiah chapter 10, they take a tree from the forest and they fasten it so it cannot move, and they decorate it with gold and silver. And it talks about not doing that. It doesn't profit your soul. It doesn't do anything for you. It can't move. It doesn't influence your soul. There's not. So people that are worshiping Christmas, they decorate their trees, they exchange gifts, they wish everybody Merry Christmas, and you have to say it. When I saw my stepfather yesterday, and my mother was there, and she's in the room, and he absolutely freaked out. He said Merry Christmas, and I said Happy Monday. It's good to see you. And he looked at me and he just stopped and he goes, "You mean you're not going to wish me?" He knows about me being a flat earther, and he worked at NASA his entire life. He's the one that archived the telemetry tapes and the communication tapes from the Stanley Kubrick movie set that are lost now. And he moved here to Johnson Space Center when they came down from Langley. He's one of the original employees here in Texas of NASA. Whew. So this is my family and people I know, and growing up in the Mormon community of NASAites and knowing all of these people. And now, you know, anyway, back to the story with him. So he just went, oh, he got mad. Don't tell me you're going to, oh, stop it, stop it. And I said, can I answer your question? I said, no, I don't believe in a Christ Mass, a Mass for Christ. And I believe in Christ, but not. He says, stop it, stop it. And started yelling. I said, I'm answering your. He goes, oh, I'm sorry I asked. I would rather be anywhere than here, 500 miles away. And then he told me, he says, look, when we see your sister and your family and we meet at this restaurant, you be sure and say Merry Christmas. And I said, absolutely not. I said, I don't believe in it, and I'm not going to wish people a happy Christ Mass. Christ Mass. And he was fuming mad. So we're heading to the lunch, and, you know, I saw my sister, and we had a good time, and my brother-in-law and my nephews, and we had a big group at the table, and we had a really good time. I didn't wish anybody Merry Christmas. I just said, great to see you. It's a great family time, you know. So, but anyway, how this had to do with the Sandman and Metallica. Earlier in the week, I'm studying this moth. I don't know if a lot of you have seen this video about the moth, the Dannos moth, D-A-N-N-O-S. And it has black and white wings. Hold on a second. It has these black and white wings with the number 88 on the wings, and that's its natural pattern. And it's called the Dann moth, the Dannos, and it represents Dan, the tribe of Dan, which are the guardians, the B-negative blood types. I'm sure you know. And then it's just odd that this guitar video showed up for me a few days ago and taught me how the proper way to play Sandman, so that you have these E notes ring out. If you hold that hand position, you do it with your second and fourth finger and play the do-do with your third and first finger, but your hand doesn't move. It's kind of difficult to get down, but it's like, okay, now I play it right. Then you find out Metallica band members are Danites, and their magic number is 8. And you look at their first album, the 8th song, and the topic that was of the song, I can't remember, but you just think, wow, and these people, we just think it's an accident. These band people get together, let's pick a cool name of our band, and we'll pick some songs and just put them, we'll go record them. And there's a lot more going into it. I don't know if it's the band members or if it's their managers, their A&R people, the people that they contract with for their albums, that get them involved in all this stuff, or if they grew up in it. But you're just amazed, you know. So here I am, and it's about, hush, little baby, don't say a word. Never mind that noise you heard. It's just a voice inside your head, under your pillow, under your bed. In other words, just consent by silence. Participate in Christmas. Wish people a happy Christ Mass. Eat Dionysus. Eat the Eucharist. Eat the burnt dead body of your king. You know. Give gifts to people. Hug each other. Decorate a tree. Take a tree out of the forest and fasten it. Decorate it with fun. You know, we all have great memories, and the colors are beautiful, and it's a wonderful time, and such a wonderful time of year, and all the songs. But when you actually start to split it all apart, it's devilish, it's Luciferian, it's demonic, and we participate in it, and we consent, and it's part of the grander illusion that we live in, of this life on earth that is run by these guardian, deceiving elites that run our banking system, our religion. You know, the 6 points of control over mankind are government, economics, your banking, your military, your allopathic medicine means you destroy something to treat people. Allopathic medicine, religion, and education, the core education. Acorn, stuff like that. You know, that's how they control man. And this goes on all over the world, especially anywhere where the Rothschilds have the central banking control, out of Switzerland, which, as we know now, North Korea is a puppet of Switzerland in the duality model. So once you start to learn all of this stuff, and you go through Christmas, and you get family members that are pissed off as hell at you and yelling at you and demanding that you wish other family members Merry Christmas. He said, it's a trite thing and we all do it. And I said, exactly, it's a trite thing and we shouldn't do it anymore. Because once you learn about what it's about, it's silly to wish that on anybody, or evil to practice it, and I don't believe in it, so I'm not going to wish it on anybody. So I wonder how some of you other guys did during Christmas, or whatever Christians worship the sun and Muslims worship the moon. All the other religions are part of the cabal or some other fraction. So it's like, once you know all this stuff, what did you go through this holiday season? Anyway, your study and your research goes into your consciousness, and your epiphanies become your reality. I also had a huge epiphany yesterday when I got home from the lunch about time and how time is a construct illusion, and that it's not real. You hear people saying that, and it just came to my consciousness and was clear. I could see it. So, thank you for coming. I'm Alex. Please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Remember, participation is consent. Ignorance is consent. Silence is consent. Start reading, start learning. Don't participate. Don't say things in ignorance. I mean that in a kind way. And don't be silent. We can all start to change things. One more example. My mother noticed I don't wear a watch anymore. And I said, I have a cell phone. If you want to know what time it is, you push one button, it's 1:43 on December 26, 2017. So why wear a wristwatch if you've always got a phone on you and it's got a clock in it, and a calendar and everything else you need? As far as the radiation beams that give you tumors and all that. Knock on plastic. So remember they used to have pocket watches that were on chains, and then those went away when the watch went to a wristwatch. And now the wristwatches are going away because people carry their scrying mirror phones in their pockets and have them. Anyway, the same thing can happen with participation in these ridiculous rituals of the Luciferians, like Christmas. Just don't participate. Speak out about it like I did yesterday. It may be uncomfortable. You may have people yell at you like I did that are family members. You may have people pissed as hell at you and thinking you're absolutely nuts. But if we all start to do this, it will go away, and mankind will be blessed. We'll all love Christ every day of our lives, regardless of our religion. That's a figure who runs this earth, and people have seen him. People know he exists. People have been above the firmament. People know God and Christ are up there. I do. You can't deny it. He never came right out and said, my name was Jesus on earth. And the stories, you have to dig through them and find out, well, Jesus actually was crucified for like 4 hours and was brought down and survived, resuscitated, escaped Israel and moved to India and is buried somewhere near Kashmir in a town called Srinagar, Srinagar, and was known all throughout Babylon, Sumer, India, Indus Valley as, Esha and Isa, he who was crucified in Jerusalem in his later life. I mean, if you just start reading. But it offends so many Christians. Absolutely not. Brainwashing is hard to remove. So, I'll say it again. Please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm out. Thank you for coming. And happy holidays. Happy Tuesday.